to show you how easy it is to create these characters, to create these backgrounds, to create these scenes for a book that you want to write. Download these images and let's put it together in Canva. What if your child can travel the world in a storybook? Let me show you how I make this. We are starting at neolemon.com, formerly known as consistentcharacter.ai. So we're going to do our first step. And step one is always going to be to create your character. So we're going to go to the side here and hit this menu button. And we're just going to go on down to Character Turbo. Click on that. And I already have my prompt. If you know what your character looks like, you can upload a photo and it can generate the prompt here. Or if you just want to type it out, you can go ahead and do that as well. But I have this prompt. The very first image is always going to be a full body front view, standing face forward. So I'm just going to type that into the action and expression. So full body view, front facing. Background, we just keep it plain for right now because we are, again, this is just our go-to image for our character. And then we're going to do 3x4. For KDP, you have different size books that you can make, but the most popular is the 8x5 and the 6x9 books that you can create. So if you do choose that template, that sizing, then your images should be formatted in a 3x4 ratio. So for this style, we're going to do the watercolors. So I'm going to go down. I clicked on style and I'm going to click this watercolor illustration. And then I'm going to hit generate and let it see what it cooks. All right, so we have our first image of this little girl named Luna. She has the book back on as we stated in the prompt. And what we're going to do is we're going to download this and put it to the side. But this is going to be our main character that we're going to be focusing on. And I already have a mini story as we go. If you don't like the image, you can always change out some things from the prompt. Hit that generate button again, and it will give you a different option. I'm just going to stick with this. I'm going to download it. So I'm just going to hover my mouse over the image, and then you'll see the prompts to the side. And in the little gray bar at the top, you'll see the download option. But okay, so we have our first image. Second is to now create the scenes. We're going to have 5 scenes of our little character traveling around the world in different scenes. The first line of the mini book is Luna loves stories, but one night her book began to glow. Suddenly she was whisked across the world, one magical place at a time. She stood beneath the Eiffel Tower, wandered through cherry blossoms in Japan, and so on. But let's get the first image. I'm going to hover and I'm just going to go over here to the side and I'm going to click on this first option, edit action. And you can see to the side, the screen changed. And now I have the image that we're working with. And then I have the option to change the action. So I'm just going to paste in my prompt that I have from ChatGPT. Some of the things I don't need. I'm just going to delete that. But Luna's going to be walking beneath a cherry blossom tree in Japan, pink petals floating in the air, traditional street in the background. So let's generate that. Okay, so we have our image and she's in Japan. You have the traditional Japanese housing or structures in the background. You have the cherry blossoms, they're falling from the trees. She's looking face forward. Now, if you wanted her to be looking to the side or whatnot, then you can change her perspective. So edit perspective. If you wanted to change the background, you would just click on edit background and it would just edit the background, but that's all you would do. Let's go back and now let's go to the next city. So Luna's going to be standing in New York at sunset and the city skyline is in the back. So what I typically do is I always go back to the original image that I created to work with if I'm changing scenes and just doing something different. Now, if I wanted to do her to do something additional in this Japanese setting, then I would just click on this picture with the cherry blossoms in this background and hit edit action. However, we're going to switch it up and change her whole location. So I'm going back to the original, and I'm going to go hover my mouse over the image and click edit action, and then paste again my new prompt over here to the side where it says change your action. And again, I'm going to delete some things that I don't need in there. Standing in New York City at sunset city skyline. She's looking up in awe, whimsical, cozy, cinematic feel. Okay, let's generate. Okay, I like that. All right, so the watercolor theme is still going, and she's looking up in awe like we designed her to do. So let's go on to the next scene. I'm just copying my prompt, and this time she's going to be in Greece. So what do? We go back to our original image, and we're going to go click on edit action and highlight this so we can get rid of that over to the side and paste in our new prompt. Get rid of some things that we don't need in that prompt. All right, and now she's going to be in Greece, overlooking the blue rooftops, calm sea, and sunny sky. So let's generate this one. That's perfect. I love that. It clearly captured everything that we wanted. We wanted her in Greece, the blue structures, the blue rooftop structures that are famous in Greece, and she's looking in awe. Okay, perfect. Let's move on to the next. She's going to be now standing in Egypt among the pyramids. So I'm going to just copy that prompt, going back to the original, and I'm going to go to edit action, paste my prompt in, and I'm going to generate the image. All right. So she is in front of the pyramids. She's looking straight forward. Now, again, if we want to change the perspective, then we can do that. We can change the perspective and give it like a side view where she's looking at the pyramids. You can change, of course, the background, change her outfit. Maybe you want her in a safari outfit, whatever you want to do. But these are your options to show you how easy it is to create these characters, to create these backgrounds, to create these scenes for a book that you want to write with using Neolemon. Neolemon makes it so easy to create whatever your mind is thinking of when you're creating your digital products, when you're creating your storybooks, when you're creating your cartoons, when you're creating your lesson plans. Creating Neolemon needs to be in your toolkit. It needs to be. But let's now download these images and let's put it together in Canva to work on our book. So to download your image, all you need to do is, again, hover over the image, and you'll be presented with these options. You'll have a gray bar at the top, followed by orange options to do the edit action, expression, and so on. But all you do is highlight it, and the downward arrow is the download button. Just click on that and download all of your images. Next step, we will be on going to Canva, and then we will put our book together. All right, so now we are in Canva, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on the Create button on the home page, and we are creating a 6x9 book. So we're just going to go in here and choose custom size and type in 6. We don't necessarily have to type it in because I have the option right here, but if you don't have that option, just type in 6x9 inches. Make sure you're selecting inches and create new design. When you open up your book, the very first page is either going to be some message, personal message, or it might be even blank, or it might just be like the title page or whatever. So you're going to always keep that in mind when you are creating your pages. Let's just go ahead and copy our images inside of Canva. And what I'm going to do is I have them highlighted here to the side on my desktop. And I'm just going to drag them in to Canva. and it will automatically go to the upload tab. Let me do it one more time. There we go. It will automatically load it to the tab, and we have our images inside of Canva. It's that quick, it's that easy. So if you picture in your mind, your book, how you want it to read, do you want the images on this side and your text on the opposite, or vice versa? It's whatever you want to do. So let's do the first scene where our Luna character, she is in Paris. Let me put in our margins, because that's the most important thing that you need to do when you're working or creating a KDP book. So I'm just going to go to File, Settings, Add Guides, and Custom. Just going to get rid of that. And margins, it's 0.125. Canva will automatically round it up. So in the margin areas, I just put in the margins that KDP recommended, but he rounded it up to 0.13. And I'm just going to hit Add Guides, and that it's highlighted around the image. And so now when we are putting our image in, we want to make sure we stay in these boundaries. So we have that. We're just going to stretch out the image a little bit and down. Okay. So we have our first image here. We're just going to add a page at the bottom, and we're going to do this for all of the images. So let's do the cherry blossom next. Put that in. Make sure we stay within the guidelines, the margins. New York next. And all right. We're just missing Egypt. Okay, let's do Egypt. Cool beans. So we have our images in. So if you're creating your book, again, you can now either add a page just above the top of your image. You'll have these options, and this little square with a plus sign in it, just click on that to add a page. And so your text can go here. Now, if you don't want the image to text, you can switch it around and then have it where your text will be on one side and then your image. Go to the sidebar in Canva, hit text, and you can play around with the font. You can search for a font. If you have a font that you like, go ahead and choose that. I don't even know if I'm going to say it, but Fudoka, and I choose that one all the time. But let's just get some text in here. Add a heading, and then change it to Fudoka. There we go. And then you just copy and paste your text in here. In the end, your inside of your book should look something like this. First page being your copyright page, followed by a blank page, then your title page, and then a blank page, because that's going to be the back of the title page. And then you go into your story. So you have your actual text, image, and so on. You can decorate the page with the text with different elements. You can search for sparkles or travel icons or whatever, and add that to the page to give it a little bit more, I guess, spunk, but whatever you want to do. But this is what you should have your format for your KDP book. All right, so just remember, all these images were made with Neolemon. No design skills, just one character, and we have different magical scenes. You can put your book together literally in minutes. If Neolemon is not in your toolkit, what are you doing? I'll see you on the next one. I believe we're just going to be putting the whole book together, including the cover pages. But see you on the next one.